Hey Sandy, this is Zach with Loft Equipment, and this is your new lawnmower. Just wanted to kind of walk you through it and just kind of show you how everything works. What I like to do is start from the front and work my way back. So that's kind of how I'll gear this video. So we'll just go from the front of the machine all the way to the back. So to start with, coming up to your tires. Usually we keep about 20 psi in the front and 10 in the back. That's just the air pressure. Probably don't have to worry about that. That's just something, if you have us do the maintenance on, that's something we'll take care of. Looking at the tires as well, there's 2 grease zerks on the 2 tires. There's not any grease zerks up here on these 2, in case you guys are wondering. Those are technically self-sealed, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. Talking about maintenance, I'm going to jump up here to this chart right here. On that chart, it's kind of cool if you can kind of interpret what it's telling you. So this is once again up here by the seat. This chart right here shows you what kind of maintenance that you should be looking for whenever you're running your mower. Now, most people put on about 50 hours in a year whenever they're mowing their lawn. And so with this right here, it's kind of telling us different things on what to check for at different hours. So right here, it's telling us that there's 8 hours and every 25 hours things to check. So at every 8 hours, what it's telling us to check is check your engine oil. And then at every 25 hours, it's telling us to go through and grease it, check the hydraulic oil, and then to check the tire pressure. So that's what brought me from the tire pressure up to here. So about every 25 hours, just want to make sure there's pressure in the tires. And then also in here, it kind of goes through and shows you the different areas to grease, as well as the different areas to check the tire pressure too. So with number 1, it's saying check the engine oil right over here in the engine. At number 2, it's telling you the places to grease. So you got 2 grease zerks, one on the idler underneath the seat for the transmission, and then you got one on the deck right here. So that's what's saying number 2 is going there and there. And then we also got to check greasing the 2 front spindles right there. So that's kind of what brought me here. And then number 4 is telling us just check the tire pressure, so there and there, just kind of check those. Once again, if you have us do all the maintenance, we'll take care of all that. Rule of thumb is people usually do just do a service, a maintenance about once a year. So usually they'll do like a spring tune-up in the beginning of the year, and then just kind of go from there. So that's it on the maintenance on it. Moving forward from there is right here is kind of a jack. This is meant to just plug a 2-inch normal jack up to it. So you take a jack, put it on there, jack it up there, and then you can kind of get to your blades underneath the mower. Keep on moving forward here. You can lift up the front here, and you can get down here to your blades and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take a seat on the lawnmower and then just kind of take a look at the controls from here, since we're coming up here right here on the foot pedal. So this is how you're going to raise and lower the deck on it, okay? So what you do is you have 3 pieces right here. So you got this foot pedal, then you have this magnetic piece right here. So this is what this little red thing's telling you, is that this is actually a magnetic setup. So I'm going to hold on to that, and then what you do is this for like the deck height. Let's say you want to cut it about 3 inches. Most people cut somewhere between 3 and 4 inches. Most of the time, rule of thumb is about 3.5 inches. So if we wanted to cut it 3.5 inches, we'd come up here, so we go to 3, and then come up here to 3.5. If you want to cut up 4, you kind of go here and you look for the 4 and the 0 when you cut it right there. 4 3/4, you follow the 4, you go up here to the 3/4, and you just plug this down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and put it in the 3.5 hole. And so what that does is it kind of pulls down in there. And once again, underneath here is magnetic. So that's actually going to pull down, and you'll kind of notice that once you mess with it. But it just kind of pulls down there, and it's magnetized, so that'll hold it in place, so you don't have to worry about a pin on the bottom. So then this piece right here, this is kind of to let it go over top of trailers, keeps you from getting high lifted, that kind of stuff. Honestly, this is something that you'll never probably use. What you'll end up doing is probably just set your deck height once, maybe kind of adjust it, see where you want to mow with it at, and then you'll be all good to go from there. So here's me adjusting this part with everything in view. So I'm taking my ankle, pushing this down and pushing this up, and it's coming down here. One thing to notice is this thing can't come out anymore. It just stays stuck there because all the weight of the mower deck is on there. And then to kind of push it back down, you push that down and it locks it in place. Once again, that's just to kind of keep you from getting high lifted up on a trailer or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead, drop it down here. We're mowing at 3.5 inches. Moving forward, kind of coming up here, so on your left, we actually have the park brake. So we're gonna disengage it and engage it just like this. So, and you got this little sign here too that kind of shows you what you're doing. But if you ever want to have it parked or not rolling or anything like that, you got to have this up here. One thing to know about these lawnmowers is that these lawnmowers are designed to kind of protect themselves in a sense. So you can't bring this up and have it out of neutral and drive it, or else it'll die. So the zero turn will die if you have the park brake engaged and you're trying to run against it. So in a sense, it kind of protects itself from you running the mower with the park brake on. So it's actually a little bit smarter than your cars. You know, sometimes with your car you can drive it with the emergency brake on. With these, not so much. So that's one thing that's kind of nice about it. Then coming down here, this lever right here, what this thing does is you adjust that to your weight. So I'm going to come back over here and just kind of show you. So I weigh about 200 pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll that over here. I'm going to set that dial on the white number right here to, I don't know, somewhere in between 190 and 235. So that's where I'm going to put it at. And that's just going to adjust your spring on the seat right here. One thing also too is if you want to scoot your seat up and back, you got this little lever. So you got the control panel here just for reference, and remember you got your foot pedal here. So this little lever, you push it inside and then you'll slide the machine forward and backwards. So I'm taking this lever, pushing it in, and then I'm sliding the seat all the way up and all the way back like that. So that's going to be that. I'm probably going to cut it here just for the first video.